So this is a tutorial to show how to set up a document for importing into Respondus question types, and then from there you can export as a pool to upload to Blackboard to administer the test through Blackboard. So what I'm going to do is I went through to the 1406 page on Blackboard to access this CLO document here, which I think is the most current version. And even the older versions pretty much had the setup this way, where individual questions were within boxes of our of a table. And something new that's been added, which is nice, is the answer key on the side here. But I'm going to make a suggestion on how to produce these documents in the future, so that they're already formatted, so you can put them into Respondus, and that would make things easier for making changes or manipulating questions in the future. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy the CLO title and the questions as they appear within the table, and only the questions. I'm not going to copy the answers column. And as long as there's no special characters like subscripts or superscripts or arrows or anything like that, I can just copy them and then open a new document and then paste as text. Now, if there are special characters, some other adjustments need to be made, and I hope to have a tutorial to show how to do that in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my title for the document and say this is CLO1, and this is for Biology 1406, and this would be CLO1 Assessment Bank. And we can even add a subtitle if we wanted. For CLO1 is to describe the characteristics of life, and then it seems that our first question is right there, and it's a matching set. And so what we want to do is give our questions titles. So I recommend, if it's a PLO, put PLO. If it is a CLO, put CLO. So I'm going to put CLO1, and this is CLO 1.1. And the way Respondus is going to know that this is the title is to indicate so by writing the word title and then putting a colon and then your title name. The question itself should start on the second line, and then any choices that follow after that on the lines that follow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the title colon with a space and then CLO, and then I'm going to go and paste that in the front of every question. I also recommend that each question has a space between them, so it's easier to see the break between questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy title colon CLO in front of each one of these questions, and then move the actual question to the second line. So I'm going to continue to do that without saying much, so I can work a little bit faster. Again, make sure the question is on the second line. Now, so long as you put a title, and you don't even have to put a title if you don't want to, but I'd recommend a title so that we can discuss specific questions if we need to in the future. For example, if we have an issue with CLO 1.7, we'd know exactly which question we're talking about. Again, make sure the question is on the second line. So I would put a title and then the question starting on the next line. Now, the default for imports for Respondus is that the questions Respondus would assume they're multiple choice, and if that's the case, then we need to go down for each one and indicate the correct choice. If it is not, like the first one, then we need to add a line before the title and indicate type. So we would type the word in, type with a colon, and for matching, the code is going to be a capital MT, and that'll tell Respondus that this is matching. So the next question that follows is matching. For each question, you also need to put a number in front of it. So we're going to put a number 1, and I'm going to use just the automatic function from Microsoft Word where we can add either bullets or numbers, numbered bullets. And so there's number 1. I'm going to go to CLO 1.2 and then click the button, and it puts number 2 automatically. I'm going to do the same for the rest, so we should end up with 10 questions since it was CLO 1.1 to 1.10. Now we still need to tell Respondus what the right answer choice is, and that's done by putting an asterisk in front of each choice. So I went and wrote down the answers ahead of time to save some time. And so for question number 10, that was choice A is the right answer, so you put an asterisk in front of it. Sometimes the hardest part of this process is when you don't know what the right answers are, or if you see issues with the question that need to be adjusted. So those were the multiple choice. For the matching, we need to change how this is going to be formatted. First of all, we're not going to put an asterisk in front of each one. And the different terms we're trying to put a matching set with, we're actually going to have to change those from numbers to letters, because Respondus will mistake these for being separate questions, because the way Respondus recognizes a question is by numbering with a decimal afterwards or an closed parentheses. So what we need to do is tell Respondus what the correct matching choice is, and then Respondus will scramble them up later. So for now, we're going to put the exact correct choice right beside the term there. So for number 1, it looks like choice C was our correct answer. And so we're telling Respondus that these two match together. And again, Respondus, when it creates the questions, and then on Blackboard or when you print up, it'll scramble up the questions for you automatically. And then we want to get rid of what was left behind here. We could just leave one choice there. And then the next thing we need to do is change the numbers to letters. And they could be uppercase or capital letters or lowercase. And it doesn't matter if you have, in some cases, in question 1, you have capital letters for your choices, and then question 2, lowercase. What matters is you have a period afterwards, so that Respondus knows that these are the separate choices. Now we don't put any asterisks in front of any one of them. And then what we want to do is save our question bank at some location on your computer as a document. So I'm just going to go to one of my files of choice. Since this is general bio, I'm going to put it into the general bio folder. And because I'm just testing this out here, I'm going to save it with the title test so I can know that that file is just example. And I already had one with that name, so I'm just going to replace it. And so now we're ready to import our pool. And hopefully things will go well. So now we're going to open Respondus. And in Respondus, we would go to import questions. Okay. And we want to tell Respondus to look for a Word document, more current. It says 2007, but as long as it has the docx as the extension, it should work. And so I'm in that correct folder where I saved it. There is the document that I've saved in the correct format. I'm going to import it. And then you need to give it a title. So I'm going to give it that same title, test biology 1406 CLO 1 assessment bank. And then you want to click preview. And what's going to happen here is Respondus is going to check to make sure everything was formatted correctly. If it's not, it'll give you some warnings down here. It'll tell you how many questions are incorrect, and it'll tell you which numbers. And what I found, sometimes I forget to put an asterisk by the right correct question, or I forgot to indicate that this was matching as far as type goes. Again, the default is multiple choice. So there were no problems here. We click finish. And then click OK. And you can preview your questions if you'd like. And you can see right now, this is your matching set, and it looks like they're not scrambled right now. However, if we go to modify the item, right here this box is not checked. So when it comes time to making the test, it won't keep the choices in the correct order. It'll mix them up. And this is, I believe, true if you're going to print up a test, which you can do, or if you want to export it for Blackboard as a pool or a test. And so we can go through, you can go through and check all your questions, and you can make any changes. For example, right here, this one choice has a capital letter, all the other ones, the choices are lowercase, so we might go back and make sure all of our choices match formatting as they should. And then, so now we're ready. So you're going to go to preview and publish, and we want to publish to Blackboard. So you go to Publishing Wizard, and what you want to do is click on the Save Pool to Local File, and then click Next. And then, since we're going to do a pool, we would go to Pool with No Points, and then we need to select a location. I'm going to go ahead and select the same location that I put the Word file on, just so I can keep track of it. And it may give you a warning about the file name and so on. I found I usually don't have problems with the titles I've been choosing so far. And then you click Finish, and you've successfully created a pool. And if I went back to that file, and there's my pool right there. So this would be the one that I would import into Blackboard. And so now if I go to Blackboard, I'm going to go to one of my shells from eTeach1 way back when. And I'm going to go to the tools, the course tools here. And then I'm going to go to test surveys and pools, and I'm going to go to the pool. And then I want to import the pool. I'm going to browse my computer. So I'm under courses. I got to find that file again from that location. And there is my test pool for Biology 1406 assessment bank. And then submit. And sometimes when I'm working on my laptop, it takes a while, or even my computer in the office to do so. But that's pretty much it. And now you can use this pool to generate questions.